What's up, everybody? Nursing Debriefing number 11 coming to you hot from San Diego. Love it, San Diego weather. Finally, guys, we have finally landed our contract.
Secured
and
the
we're
bag.
finally starting our nursing contract. Long awaited. I was a little bit stressed during this whole situation, but I feel like we always come out a positive. You gotta be patient. Just don't let the frustration and stress get to you, and eventually you will land that contract.
It gets emotional out there, man. You got to just control them, and things do work out because world is generally a good place. So now we're in our 2-week warning is what I call it. We're on the onboarding phase of things. So we're preparing all the documents and everything, and it's a lot of work sometimes. So first thing you might have to do is make sure you sign your medical release forms from a provider or maybe different agencies. And you want to make sure you have all your documents such as previous vaccination status, updates with titers and etc., fit testing, maybe a physical from a previous employer because it's only been done in 3 months. Get all that out to your current agency so they can send you an up-to-date checklist of all the things you need to get done for your onboarding.
A really good tip, and just to give you a less of a headache, you could say, is always keeping the stuff on your computer. Every time you get your MMR vaccine or your titers drawn, or you do like a flu declination, or any kind of, get your C19 vaccine, any kind of thing that you do, always take a picture of it to you. Always take a picture and always save it to your computer. If it's not sent to you through email or electronically, just take a photo and put it in like your Google Drive, or save it on your MacBook, or save it somewhere. Even you can save it on your phone, or create a file that says like nursing stuff. That way, when you're finding a new contract every 3 months, you're not as reliant on the agency to send you these things. Most recruiters will send you this, even though if you didn't go with them. Let's say you work with one agency and then you switch agencies because that agency couldn't find you a job. That recruiter should be nice enough to at least give you your documentation back. But not all recruiters do that for you. Sometimes it does take a little bit of time. It could take 3 days, 4 days, a week, just depending on how busy it is. Luckily, we got ours in 24 hours just because our crew is really nice and really cool. But you don't want to be stuck waiting on somebody's response time, or waiting on somebody to figure their stuff out and send you the documents, because then you're just relying on somebody else. You're better off just saving you the time and the headache, and just saving everything you do for one contract on your computer, on your phone. That way you have it ready, and you have to search around for them, because it's super annoying trying to log into whatever the American Heart Association or whatever the website is to get a picture of your ACLS card or your BLS card, because sometimes it doesn't always. Sometimes those websites do crash, and you don't want to be scrambling last minute for these things. So just save it to your computer, save yourself a headache. Just be a little bit proactive, and it's the same stuff every time that you have to upload. So it's really no change. Only thing you have to keep up is let's like maybe your CEUs or your certifications where they expire like every year, like your NIHS and all the other ones. And of course, your R licenses you have to renew every 2 years. So it's also good to keep track of that, because remember, if you're a traveler, you're not in a staff position where the manager is going to tell you, hey, your license is expiring. No one's going to kind of follow you around anymore. You got to take initiative. We just found out that our licenses expire in March, April, and June, all 3 in a row. Our Cali, our Texas, and our Illinois, all off the rip. And even though you're not practicing in that state, for example, you should still always renew it, just so you don't have to pay for the application fee again. If you have 5 RN licenses, you should always keep renewing them, just because you never know. You might be thinking, hey, I don't see myself going to Alabama anymore. But guess what? A year and a half down the line, you got some nice contract opportunities in Alabama, and you want to go. You're going to be ahead of the game. You're going to have your license ready and all that kind of stuff.
100%. And Google Drive for the win. It saves you so much time. So with this onboarding, there's things that we're getting ready, such as a drug screen. We're doing like Hep B vaccine, or declination, the physical exams, the typical vaccinations you might need. Submit that, including the C19 one. You also need a fit test. This is a little bit annoying because most facilities that you go to do your onboarding, they don't provide you with that 95. So what we had to do today is we had to order them, so they come in the next 24 hours from Prime, and go take the OSHA fit screening and mask fit test.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that's just like a Kaiser, California thing, because in Texas, you don't need to have your own N95. And even the hospitals in Chicago, you don't need your own N95. They provide it for you. So
Not for Concentra.
Well,
so same issue happened back in Chicago. So usually these places don't give you a 95. So your agency should send those out to you ahead of time. So be proactive with that, or you're gonna have to order one and get the reimbursement.
Yeah, but I didn't bring a Concentra I didn't bring an N95 to Concentra last time. They gave me one.
Oh,
But it's
so
probably like recommended, but it's probably they want you to bring one because it saves them money. But I guess probably if you forget it, they're probably going to have some extra ones. It's just not guaranteed that they're going to be there. So you go at your own risk, get it if you need to, just to be safe.
yeah, so for me, I failed because I had this giant beard. So what's going to happen is this time around, I'm going to shave this bad boy. I'm going to be bald, looking like a 10-year baby back in the past.
That's right. Don't judge yourself. I think
And
you always look like a grown man, bro. I
thank
got
you, bro. I know I got that good chin. And after that, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to grow it back out just so I could be qualified to wear N95 because wearing a papper in some of these facilities with the strap, with the hood, it could become a pain in the ass.
Yeah, we had that in Pasadena, right, where we had those big ones, and those were really a nuisance.
And in Texas, they were kind of a little bit more loose. Like I had a beard, I put on my N95, no one said anything. I was comfortable with it. Work got done. Upload your certificates such as BLS, ACLS, and all that fun stuff. You're going to sign a bunch of release paperwork as far as with OSHA, making sure the hospital has the right to your what is it called? To all your files, the background checks, and etc. So that gets usually done by the agency, and you'll just kind of be up to date of what's happening. And the next thing you do, usually on rn.com, you have a bunch of documents to take care of, such as exams to making sure you're competent. So that has to get done.
And that's probably the biggest pain in the ass there is. The beginning onboarding stuff like the physical, the drug screening, the vaccines, the health stuff, that's not that big of a deal. All you gotta do is show up to location, they get all that stuff done for you, they draw your titers if you need, and that's easy. The really big headache is these exams that you have to do. We did our prophecy exams back in Texas, and now Kaiser and some California hospitals require you to go through RN500, or not RN500, but RN.com to do some of these exams and modules to make sure that you are competent enough to work as a nurse. A lot of times this includes like some pharmacology stuff. Usually it's always EKG stuff. If you're like tele-nurse, ICU, or majority of these units require now tele-strips, you can read basic cardiac rhythms. So that's super annoying. I'm not sure how this one works because we might have to go in to do the EKG exam, correct? It might not be available online. But the whole C19 thing where it might be online now, but in Oakland we had to go sit down and do it versus the Texas and I think Santa Monica, I believe we just did it all online.
Yeah, the things vary per facility.
But the vote probably is solid, I want to say, a whole day to doing these modules because sometimes they add up, especially the prophecy ones. The prophecy ones, I feel like I did so much times where I just run through it just because it's the same thing over and over again. Maybe a handful of questions are different, but if it's not prophecy, then that's not as popular, you could say, especially if it's like Kaiser where it has like their own way of doing things. A little bit of a nuisance, but you got to take care of them. Just devote a day to just doing that and having like a less stressful and more of a relaxing day, even though this is like a little bit of a headache. Take it easy.
And the beautiful thing with it is you get reimbursed. So either they're going to tell you right away they're going to get reimbursed for that, or let your facility know, hey, I put in 6 hours of work into this. Let me get some reimbursed part of my stipend or hourly rate, whatever the case might be. Usually it's the hourly.
And it's usually 6 hours like the gold standard, 6 or 8, or sometimes they can make it, well, not anymore because it's C19, but in Oakland they made us come in and do it because because they didn't want to pay us for it, but they said we have to get it done. And then we're upset. We're like, how is it not paid for? So they're like, all right, we'll pay for it, but you have to come to the actual hospital and do it on our computers.
And this was towards the end of the contract. So we kind of stood our ground. They didn't pay us first. We didn't get it done. No one said anything till like the last 2 days of our contract. This has to be submitted. All right, well, took a shift where we just horsed around and did modules. Wasn't too bad.
Yeah, it was not bad at all. We got like 4 or 5 hours. We just drank some coffee. I'm not saying we took our time because it's annoying to sit there, but we teamed up on it, got it done, taken care of, and we got paid for it. So always push for that because if you're devoting a lot of time to this, if there's a lot of them, just ask. It doesn't hurt to ask. Just like when we talked about the whole property stuff on our last episode, or not last episode, but our future episode here that's going to get released on episode 89 on the couple news. We talked about avoid getting scammed on property. You got to ask certain questions, and asking questions also benefits you in possibly getting a lower rate of rent. So it never hurts to ask anything. I don't think it's a dumb question. Yeah, you might get laughed at, but trust me, there's always somebody that has, you could say, a sillier question than you. Don't feel like you got to hold back because you think this is a dumb question, because it really isn't a dumb question. And it might benefit you. You might get paid for it.
Exactly. And that's a wrap up for that. It's been an interesting time. Onboarding as always. Veterans at it. it doesn't get any different, just tedious, and we're just ready to start working.
And it's cool because as a travel nurse, you don't really get time off. So Matt and I really don't take any time off between any contract days until like May, June, when we take a little travel nursing hiatus over summer to go back into Chicago. So usually we're going from contract to contract to contract and then a little break. This time we went from contract. Now we're taking like a 3-week break almost. It's nice little relaxing time, and it's cool. It's nice. I wish I could take like a 3-week break in between each contract. That'd be nice, just to kind of lay low for a little bit. Because doing nights, because in Austin, as you'll know, we did nights. So when we got off nights, it took us like a solid, I want to say a week and a half to actually transition to 2 days. And now like I feel great. I'm waking up at like 6 o'clock in the morning, getting all my stuff done in the morning. I'm naturally a morning person, but I could function pretty highly as a night shift worker as well. But I still prefer my morning stuff. And it just took us a week and a half to transition out of it. So it actually feels very, very nice not having to work at night. And now, of course, with this unsuccessful time finding day shift position in the ICU, we're back to doing nights here at San Diego. But it is what it is. It's only 13 more weeks of nights, and then hopefully we won't have to do any more nights ever again.
Let's just crank them out, man. We'll see you guys in the next one. Hope you guys like these, and ciao. Chat soon.
Peace out.